some mistakes, not so good.
Dance, Gavin, dance. What's next on my playlist? Massive Attack. What's next on my playlist? Nick Drake. That's a good intro. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Just JP. My name is Justin. I didn't check my volumes. Let me do that really quick. Everything looks good. Today we are listening to the band Big Big Train with the song Summoned by Bells. This is off their English Electric Part 1 album. Actually the same album that A Boy in the Darkness, or A Boy in Darkness, was from. And I had listened to that previously on JPMP, and I really like that song. Now, I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about the band after I listened to that song, but I went on Reddit and I was looking up bands that sound like Genesis, like a modern day Genesis. And random question, because I always have random questions in the beginning of my videos. You guys have no idea what's coming. Like, you don't know what's coming tomorrow as a video. You don't know what's coming next week necessarily. You didn't know that this song was coming out today. Do you guys like that not knowing? Like, do you prefer to just be surprised by what comes next? Or by what's coming? Or would you like kind of like an itinerary for the week? Would you like to know what bands are coming up within the week? Or maybe just an idea, like a general, hey, when is, the next Genesis video coming, or that kind of thing? Just curious. I like it random because it's like a nice little surprise every day at midnight. But I don't know, maybe you guys don't like surprises. Let me know. I hope you guys are having a great day. It's about 9:30 p.m. right now at the time of this recording. This is my first song I'm recording of the night. How many will I do? Have no idea, it just depends on how I feel. You guys can join me on Twitter, you guys can join me in the comments down below. I love talking to you guys down there, in case you haven't noticed. This is Big Big Train with Summoned by Bells.
Took a little time to find the past, to walk the roads we used to know that lead us home. Houses in terraced rows that crowd around the railway yard, just sidings now. All overgrown. Above the high fields, clouds are gray and cold. It's as good a place as anywhere. War came and fires were seen from 30 miles away. The city burned, they wait in line. Out in the high fields, summoned by bells. Church, school, factory, along the London Road, across the park at Spinney Hill, snatching in the snow. We had our scrapes and our fights. It was part of the deal. Time moved quickly then. Things were changing all around. The world stones throw from the line. Some of the old places survive. The golden thread in time. Stream running down from the hills into the heart of the high field. So come on now, you know it's alright. Oh, those were the days of our younger lives. Come on now, come on now, come on now. Early evening, midweek in a market town. Oh, walking down those same old roads we know. Walking down those same old roads we know.
that was already awesome from like, okay, man, the way that they ended that. One, I wasn't expecting it. Two, oh, did it sound good. I didn't get chills from that. I didn't get chills, but I was definitely smiling. I was smiling like on camera, yeah, definitely. But like I was like internally that I know I'll talk about the rest of the song and yes, start from the beginning and work your way back. But sometimes I remember the most recent thing, which was that ending. But I mean, that sound, that particular section, and that groove that they found, that just hits me. That's something that I connect with automatically. Pretty much anything jazz related, I'm gonna fall in love with. I love that, and the way that they broke into it was so perfect. It wasn't abrupt at all. It perfectly flowed into it. Like let me see if I can find the section that like it's shifted. Little break. Okay. Drum rolls. Whoa! Right. Let me turn this down. Before the saxophone or the trumpet, whatever, before it even comes in, this groove that they're in right here, I could listen to this. I'm good with this right here. I'm set. The guitar, perfect. The melody they have in the back, perfect. Drum, crisp, love it. It's my kind of thing. But then my man starts coming in and blowing, or my lady. Just elevated. I love elevation in songs and music in general. I love when you find a part, when you find something, even for yourselves, when you find a section in music and it's like, wow, I connect with this. I really, really like this. And then the band does just something to take it one step further. And that's what that was. I mean, yeah. So enough about that part. I love that part. This song as a whole, I really enjoyed it. To me, this is a different type of progressive rock, right? So this type of progressive rock and this song in particular was very straightforward. There weren't a lot of like time signature changes, not at all. There weren't a lot of like random sections that were thrown in, for better or worse. But I feel that complements what they're trying to do, because this is a much more straightforward, to the point, telling a broader story without taking a bunch of detours kind of song. And sometimes I look at a band, and I don't have any in particular, but sometimes I look at a band and I'm like, wow, you have all this talent and you can do all these crazy sections and stuff. But if you just restrain that just a little bit, you guys can make just an absolutely killer song if you just streamline it a little bit more. And that's what I get with Big Big Train and Summoned by Bells. You can obviously hear the technical aspects behind them. You can obviously hear that they're masters of their instruments, but it's the way that they restrain themselves when they're playing that makes this piece of music complex in its own terms, but still very accessible, very easy to listen to, and to me, very enjoyable. Like that other type of progressive rock does have its place, don't get me wrong, and I do enjoy a lot of it, as I'm sure you've noticed. But sometimes I don't enjoy it, and sometimes I just want something like powerful, still epic and still relatively long for a song, but just not as many detours. Sometimes I want the journey to be more of a straight road rather than a road trip visiting, the Rubber Ball Museum or whatever. I mean, sure, I guess it's cool, but I mean, how long are we really going to look at a Rubber Ball Museum? I mean, vocal-wise, it sounds a little bit like Phil Collins, but not so much. But I can see the comparisons. I love this piano lead-in, by the way. I really like this as it gets into the song. That was just very smooth, very nice. Everything in this song, it sounded very neat. It sounded very perfect. Everything was placed where it needs to be placed. I really like this singer's voice too, because his singing is very light. It's also very powerful. It kind of reminds me of, and I'm sorry that I don't remember, I think it's John Anderson from Yes. in that his voice has a sort of airiness to it. In Heart of the Sunrise, when he says, sharp, bomb, distance, bomb, da, da, like that. Like, it's powerful when it needs to be, and when it needs to be, he excels at it. Same thing with the singer here in Big Big Train, who I'm going to pull up his name because I think he deserves the respect, as well as everyone else. Looks like David Longden. David does an awesome job doing that same exact thing. His soft vocals are absolutely perfect, but it's when he pushes it in the climax of those choruses, in the climax of the song, in those big moments, he nails it. All right, the ending section was clearly jazz driven and inspired, no doubt. But what I love is that throughout the song, you get little teases of that. You get little teases of jazz. For example, listen to the piano in this section right here. It's just a very small snippet, but listen for it right here. Just that small little thing, but it gives you hints of what's to come in the future. And I heard that obviously this is my first listen, but I heard that, like, listening to it, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. They threw in a little jazz riff right there. That's cool. I didn't know that was a precursor to what was going to come later on. And I think the key word for me in listening to this song is restraint. I've already talked about it, so I'm not going to mention it ad nauseum again. But just the restraint that they show in their songwriting, and how it's not really about what they can do, but what works for the song, what works for the story that they're trying to tell, whether it's lyrically or through their instruments. Where are they going from point A to point B? How are they going to get there? That's what they're more concerned about, not how much can we show off. Now, I'm sure that they have songs where they may show off a little bit more. But for this particular song, for what I'm kind of interested a little bit more right now, this is perfect. This is good. I know we've discussed it on another video before, but I'm going to ask it again because maybe some of you are new here. Do you like the fade out in this song? I really like fade outs. This is the type of fade out I like because the song had already built to this climactic end. And then we're left with the jazz part. Sure, we know where that is. And it's just the resolution in the story. It's a classic story arc. This is the characters walking into the sunset, and the movie fades to black. Instead of cutting to black, it's fading to black. And I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan of this, especially when it's such a nice pocket groove and a pocket rhythm like this. I could listen to that fade out. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful to me. The lyrics, I was reading the lyrics, but I gotta admit I wasn't really like reading the lyrics. Took a little time to find the past, to walk the roads we used to know that lead us home. Houses in terraced rows that crowd around the railway yard. Just sidings now all overgrown. Okay, so I'm getting ideas of a home that, he's looking back, and the home that he's used to is not what it is anymore. The railway, alright. Side note, guys. I have a problem with my R's and W's, so that particular word, railway, is going to be really hard for me to say unless I space it out the way I just did. So if you hear me mess up, I'm super sorry. It's just one thing that I can't get down. I don't know why. That the railway yard is overgrown with bushes and shrubs, so it's not like he remembers it. War came and fires were seen. From 30 miles away, a city burned. They wait in line out in the high fields, summoned by bells, church, school, factory, home. I'm thinking like people going to work. Now when he says war came and the fires are seen, I'm thinking of a factory, people working to like make bombs or make missiles, like typical like World War I, how like you would get the images of people going to the factories and working on things. So they're being called from all different places. It says summoned by bells, church, school, factory, home. Oh, it says factory, so maybe they're not going to the factory. I don't know. Or maybe. Okay. So summoned by bells to church, to school, to the factory, and then home. So different types of bells, different reasons for going to those places, I think. Like you're summoned by bells to go to church in the morning, sure, or whatever. Then in the school bell, factory, ring, 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 like that was stupid. The factory bells that like ring for you to get to work. And then home, maybe the dinner bell. Got it. Supper's ready. I mean, not yet, but it's coming. Time moved quickly then. Things were changing all around. The world came to this small world. Over the hillsides and rooftops, different stories were heard. I'm thinking about war and how it says that the world came to this small world, like to their small town. Maybe soldiers from different lands, from different international armies came through. Different stories were told, as it says. Whether it was for good reasons or bad, I'm not quite sure if it was enemy soldiers or, just people passing through. We moved on and found a new place. We remembered the days of our younger lives. We moved on. We walked the roads we used to know, carried with the rain that falls. Or maybe they're refugees. Or, I don't know. Or maybe their city was... I hate that my thing stops recording after 30 minutes. I'm still talking. Or maybe their city was ruined to some capacity, so they had to leave, like a refugee situation. And maybe now they've been able to return to that city, and it's just not the same. So it could be war-torn lands, basically. Anyways, long story short, I definitely like the song. Every single member in the band is super talented, and I just love the restraint that they had in making this song, because for this particular one, it sounds amazing to me. Let me know, of course, what you think of the song. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. And you guys have been joining me in the comments, which I love. I try to take the time to like go through all the comments, and even if I don't really have anything to say, I at least read it. Sometimes you guys give me like essays and I read it, but it's just overwhelmingly knowledgeable and overwhelmingly good. So I just don't have anything to say. I don't want to say just thanks, because I feel like I'm not trying to just copy and paste thanks and then put it in and say like, okay, engagement. I've been talking to you guys. No, I'm doing this because I want to talk to you guys. But some of you guys are just way beyond me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I seriously do appreciate it. You guys can join me on Twitter. You guys can join me in the comments below. And I hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you have a great night. And I will see you later.